everyone. It's so good to have you guys here. This is a topic that is so near and dear to my heart, and having worked with so many businesses, especially partnerships, I couldn't think of a better time to want to reach out and help even more businesses and more partnerships because of the catastrophic failures that I have seen happening in the industry. Did you guys know that up to 70% of partnerships fail? That's a huge number. I mean, think about it. You have your goals, you set out to build an incredible business, and your chances of success is only 30% because you decided to partner with someone. Don't get me wrong, right? According to the SBA, barely 50% of companies make it past 5 years, right? And this number varies from industry to industry. However, though, can you imagine if that number is increased for you simply because you partner with someone? Well, it is my hope that by the end of this nice time we're going to spend together, hopefully you give me a couple of minutes, you will know exactly what to do, especially if you're thinking about going into a partnership. And if you're someone who is already in a partnership, you're going to know how to proceed. And hopefully, if this is not enough for you, you can always reach out to us and talk a little bit more, okay? Partnerships are my heart, and I want to see many more partnerships succeeding. But before I dive into why I love partnerships so much, let's get to know who I am, okay? So I am Dr. Lily Binglo. I am a licensed CPA. My firm is called the ARC NPS, and we are so honored to be able to serve so many businesses all over the US and all over the world, as we have clients everywhere. And of all the things that we do, one of the areas that I found as a huge pain point was just the failure rate in partnerships, right? And that's why I'm here, deciding to continue our process of educating more business people to be more informed. So just to add to who I am, I'm very passionate about businesses. I'm very, very passionate about nonprofits too. I love helping nonprofits scale and succeed. I am a TEDx speaker, so if you haven't checked out my TEDx, feel free to check me out. I am big on helping people save taxes and build legacies, right? And it all comes down to getting yourself set up right, building a successful partnership or business or whatever you choose to do. A couple of fun facts about me before we chat. Can you believe I went skydiving? Yes, I was crazy like that. I actually went skydiving and jumped out of a perfectly moving plane. Look, I survived. That's why I'm here. I would never do it again. But I always think it's one of those things about me that I would never forget what that felt like. Another thing about me, I've driven to 48 US states and actually spent the night in each of those states. So very exciting stuff. Okay, I haven't been to Alaska, and hopefully maybe by the time you reach out to me, I would have been to Alaska and Hawaii. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into this. Why am I so passionate about partnerships? Right? Look at me talking about nonprofits, but why am I so passionate about partnerships? Right? And it's because so many reasons, and I'm going to talk about them. First, I have seen what people can do if they come together with a shared vision, a shared purpose, a shared goal, and really align themselves together, their resources and everything. The kind of stuff that they can accomplish. They can accomplish great and mighty things. And this is not just for unrelated individuals, even for spouses, husband and wife, right? When people come together to build, especially when they are both putting this at the forefront and committing to make it successful, it's incredible what could happen, right? So there are a couple of reasons why I love partnerships, and one of them is the ability to share your ideas with people, with someone else or a group of people, and you can build up on that. When you're by yourself and you have an idea, you kind of have to struggle, and sometimes you can be biased, right? Because you have an idea, you love the idea, but you can be biased because you're limited. But when you partner with other people, you know how they say ideas shared are worth billions. That's exactly what you're doing, because now that idea can really grow and become something greater, because you have people that align with you in different ways, that can challenge an idea, they can expand the idea and take it to another level. Another reason I really love partnerships is the ability to share resources. As a business person, when you build by yourself, you can struggle. But when you have people that can share certain resources with you, and it's not just money, maybe things like even an office space or a workspace or just furniture, it can really help to take you to another level. That's what a good partnership can do sometimes. And then there's the shared risk. When you're by yourself as a business owner, if your business collapses, it's on you. But when you have a partner, if something is going down, you can always find a way to kind of spread that with each other and bear that burden together. Another thing that partnership is great for is definitely that access to capital, not just financial access, okay, financial capital, but even the people capital, right? When you partner with the right people, it increases your network, right? And trust me, when they say your network is your net worth, it really is, because the more people you have access to, the more resources you have access to, there is no limit to what you can do. Another thing that partnerships are really great for is that they have an easier ability to scale compared to a business that is done by one person. Because when you have support, when you're working with somebody else, it's so easy for you to work out plans or how to take your business from one place to another level, one level to another, versus when you're by yourself and taking on the weight of your being the marketer, being the salesperson, being the scientist, the chemist, or all whatnot, right? When you're by yourself, you have to wear all these many hats. But when you have a partner, you guys can do an amazing job with dividing your workload, or strategically positioning yourselves in area that you're strong in, and that helps you grow your business. And I really think partnerships can help a business to not only grow and scale, but it can be done in the most efficient and effective way. Okay, so these are just some of the reasons, and there are many more reasons why I love partnerships. I believe in the power of partnership. It's almost like marriage, right? There's so much beauty in two people coming together and being aligned in purpose, and doing all they can to see it go to the next level, right? However, though, sometimes, partnerships can go south. They can really go south. And when they go south, it's like the worst thing. Like, it's one of those nightmares you probably don't even want to wake up from, right? And I've seen partnerships fail. When partnerships fail, it's disastrous. I mean, let me just give you an idea. When a partnership fails, the first thing that happens is the loss of money. Especially if a business was growing and it was going at a certain speed. When the partnerships fails, you guys lose so much money, because when a partnership is failing for whatever reason, there are multiple reasons why partnerships fail, right? You have the big D's, the disagreements, divorce, death, disability. You have those big D's, but there are many other reasons, right? Once you're not able to agree and you're failing, what happens is now you can't even come together to make business decisions, and that is never a good place to be. So it causes you to lose money. It causes you to lose good business relationships, and even with each other. I've seen where great friends went into business, and because the business went south, the partnership failed, it messed up a brotherhood or sisterhood that they had built. That's usually a very painful part, that loss of that relationship. Sometimes the business just stalls. You can have a great business, but it would stall because the partnership is failing. And then what usually hurts the most is when someone's passion is sacrificed, right? Because sometimes you might have someone who went into a business because they were so passionate about it, and when that partnership fails for many other reasons, you see a dream just crash. You see a passion just get damaged, and it's very heartbreaking to see. And then another thing that fails partnerships do is that they leave many customers unhappy, right? You have people that probably paid you guys, or that have come to love your business and want to see you win, and you just make them very disappointed in the fact that you guys cannot continue to grow. And then another thing when you fail is that loss of opportunities. A lot of opportunities get lost when partnerships fail, because when you've started building a business, you realize you start to expand, you start to know more people, your network, and doors are opening. But once that partnership fails, it's that you lose so many of those opportunities. Another thing that comes with failed partnerships, and this I have watched so many people go through, is the the physical, the emotional, and of course that financial stress that comes with it. I've seen people just give up completely because of how much they had poured into this business, right? From every standpoint, and to watch it collapse because they couldn't agree with another person, or from actions that were brought upon by the other person, or even them. Sometimes it can have a toll and even lead to death, unfortunately, right? And the one that we never like, but it happens all the time, is nasty lawsuits. Okay, failed partnerships usually sometimes end up in very nasty lawsuits. I want to give you guys two popular lawsuits that kind of made me really sit and reflect and ask myself, if I had the opportunity to help many more businesses get themselves set up right so they could succeed as partnerships, would I do it? And my answer was absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. And so I want to share these two lawsuits. One of them, I'm sure a lot of you guys may have heard of it, was the Founders Brewing Company. And this lawsuit was settled in 2014. And one of the things that happened in this lawsuit, of course, first there were two major things of all the things that happened, but two major things. One was the breach of a contract, and the other one was, of course, the breach of fiduciary duty. Now, I want to talk about the fiduciary duty part, because fiduciary duty just means you acting in the best interest of something, right? So when you're in a partnership, or even your relationship with people, your spouse, whatever it is you find yourself in, there's always that hope that you're going to make decisions, you're going to act, you're going to speak in a way that is always in the interest of that organization, of that friendship, of that relationship, of that union, right? And so when someone now starts to operate from a selfish standpoint, they are definitely breaching that fiduciary responsibility or duty that is expected of them, and that comes, especially when you're in a partnership. And so these two founders, their names were Dave Engbers and Mike Stevens. They had to, ended up going to court. Of course, it took a while, but the lawsuit was settled in 2014. And Dave was accusing Stevens that he was definitely the one who was that he was breaching contract and that breach of fiduciary duty. And what Stevens was doing, allegedly, was if he got contracts, he would send it to another business instead of directing it to their partnership. Okay. Of course, we never know how some of these settlements go, but for me, what I kept thinking about was that missing element: values. They were not aligned in values, right? And that's how they kind of got to this place where there was this lawsuit that was just so unpleasant. Another lawsuit that I think you guys would know, because everybody knows this company, is Yelp, right? That's where you go and you get all the reviews you want to see of every company. But in the early days of Yelp, like way back then, one of the co-founders was very disgruntled and claimed that he initially had the idea for Yelp, but when Yelp was being developed, when Yelp was really being brought into life, he was excluded from it, right? And so this was more of the thing where there is not much work is done to really clearly define what contributions each partner has made to a business. Okay, so it becomes crucial for us to think about this, because if you are going into a business, or you're setting up a business with somebody that you really love, someone that you love their work ethic, someone you believe you could build something incredible with, it becomes really very frustrating when you get to a point and you feel stuck, because you feel like you're either not being appreciated, or there's no clarity on who was actually supposed to bring what to the table, and all that kind of thing. And so today I really want to give you guys a couple of things to think about when you decide to go into a partnership. I am hoping that you're going to take notes of these things, and it would help you as you decide to set up a partnership, or if you're already in a partnership, it will help you to evaluate where you are. Okay, it will help you to ask those questions of what could we do differently, how can we improve. Okay, so if you haven't started a partnership and you're thinking about going into one, my first question for you is, why do you even need a partnership? I need you to clearly define that, because if you're going into a partnership because you want money, you might as well, not that I'm I would say you should get a loan, but I'll rather you save your own money or go get a loan, right? So ask yourself, are you going into this just because you need money? Because there's a lot of work in building a partnership, and there are people that have started partnered with someone because they gave them a little bit of money at the start, but that person who gave money is not doing any work to build a business. Building any business is incredibly hard, and if you're going into it because someone's going to give you a little bit of money and they're not going to do any work, and yet they have to take 50% of all the proceeds, you're going to be in for a ride. So you want to really ask yourself, why do I need this partnership? Now, if it's something where you know because of the different skill sets that you both have, that when you bring it together, you can build something incredible, then go for it, okay? But just don't go for it thinking that from a place of you, because you're desperate for money, especially, or because there's certain interest that you have that could be served in a moment or seasonally, and then down the road you no longer need that person or that service, and now you're stuck. Because if it's about a service or something, you can always hire people as well. So first thing I want is take time to ask yourself, why do you even need a partnership? Okay. Second thing I want you to do is to invest time in knowing your partner. This is going to involve asking those hard questions, like those really difficult questions, but it's so important for you to understand their motivations. You have to know what motivates them, what makes them wake up from bed in the morning, what makes them tick. You want to understand their values. What's the quality of their decision making when it comes to being coming from a place of integrity, right? Are they willing to sacrifice their integrity or their ethics on the altar of money or convenience, right? You also want to understand their strengths and weaknesses. You don't want to go into a partnership with someone that has, not that there's anything wrong with that, because you can always hire people, but you want to go into a partnership with someone that complements you, someone that can allow you to kind of support each other based on where you're strong or where you're weak. But if you're going to a partnership with someone who really is not big into running a business or doesn't think from that perspective, you might have an issue. So you want to understand what their strengths and their weaknesses are, and that if that is something that you can put up with. Remember, when you go into business by yourself, you're fully responsible for you, for your actions, your words, for what you do or fail to do, all of that. But when you're working with somebody else, that's a different ball game. Okay. Another thing I want you to spend time on is getting clarity on who gets to make decision on what. If you're already in a partnership and you guys clash a lot with decision making, this is one area where I will call you to step back and ask yourself, what am I good at and what is my partner good at? And then you can do that, you can entrust them with the decision of that. For example, you have some people that are really good judges of character. Maybe you can have that partner make decision on who to hire for certain positions. And maybe you have another person who is great with sales and marketing. Let them make decision on where you should advertise your products, what kind of stuff you should be doing, okay? Don't make it become a decision where everybody has to agree on, and then it starts to hold major steps back because maybe some of the partners they don't understand certain industries and may not know how to move in the light of that decision making, and might hold the process back. Okay, so if you're someone who's already in a partnership or you're thinking about going into one, clearly define those decision making responsibilities or roles. Okay. Another thing you want to clearly define is the money element. That is so big. You want to not only talk about what your contributions are going to be as partners in this business based on your percentage of ownership, but what about those of you that are going to be working for the partnership? How are you going to get compensated? Or think about if you need a loan. Who is going to take the loan? In whose name would that loan be on, right? So you want to clarify these things. They are very, very important. Another thing I want you to think about is your job description. Now, you have some partners that are silent partners depending on the kind of partnership that you have going on. And they're not involved in running, they just bring in the money, they don't make decisions or anything. But if you and your partner are both involved in running the business, you do want to have clear job descriptions. Stop saying, well, what this person doesn't do, I'm going to do it. You don't want to do that. This has killed more partnerships than anything else. Why? Because sometimes people leave everything to the person who is proactive. And then that person starts becoming overwhelming, especially if they're not being compensated for their time and their effort. and then before you know it, they just leave everything. So you want to clearly define job descriptions as well as compensation for the work being done. Okay, something that is big, and this is usually for people that are still new into the partnership world, is to understand how you even want to be set up as a legal entity. There are different ways to get set up as a legal entity, so do your research. Just don't jump into a partnership, and then down the road you realize you don't have the protection you thought you had, or maybe the role that you were going in for, maybe wanting to be a limited partnership, for example, and you realize you're actually a general partner and you're at risk for any liabilities that the company might incur. So just things to think about. And in addition to also understanding how you want to be set up as a legal entity, as a business entity, you want to understand who you can partner with. Okay, so not you don't only have to partner with people, so you don't only have to partner with individuals, but my business and your business could partner. Yeah, our businesses could partner with each other, and come together to provide certain services to certain industries. But it's important for you to also know who you can partner with, what kind of business entity you can partner with. That way you can have, whatever way you decide to go forward, you have a clear understanding. Okay, something else that I want you to understand too is how partnerships get taxed. If you're new to partnership, you need to understand how partnerships get taxed. Partnerships are considered pass-through entities, but there's a lot that goes into this because you get to share profits and losses, and then also sometimes people don't realize that there's something called a guaranteed payment that your partners can get if they are working for the partnership, and those are things you can set it up in a way that allows you to leverage the tax code for you. Okay, so something to really think about. The way partnerships for husband and wife, spouses, is taxed is, well, it's not different in terms of how it's taxed, but there are different tax strategies that you can apply in your partnership when you're in it with your husband and your wife, when it's husband and wife, compared to when you're in a partnership where it's two unrelated parties. Just so there's a lot that goes into this. So I encourage you to make sure that you're talking to someone that is giving you this insight. Okay, if you've not taken my course yet, that would be a good one to take as well. But definitely making sure that you're informed in all of these things, so that when you're setting up these partnership stuff, you're already ahead of the game. You're already aware of what your tax compliances will be, what your tax expectations, obligations will be. Okay, another thing that you want to talk about is how you're going to resolve issues before they even arise. And these are usually hard questions to ask, because when people go into business, they generally are really in a very happy space. Oh, let's go into business, and nobody's really thinking about when problems start to arise, how we're going to deal with them. Okay, you want to have those conversations. You also want to talk about what happens if we decide that we want to go separate ways. You don't want to wait till it gets really nasty and then you're ending up with this nasty lawsuit, like I was just giving some examples. But you want to have those conversations ahead of time. Okay, sometimes you have people that might want to bring in their family members to be a part of the partnership. What is that going to look like? What is the agreement for that? So you want to think about that. You also want to talk about how you would bring on additional partners, or if you have to let go of some partners, what's that process? Okay, guys, it's so important to go through these different things that I've talked about, because once you have these things clearly articulated, you and your partner have gone through and asked those tough questions, you really set yourself up for success, right? And for people that just went in because they were really excited, it's not too late to go back to the drawing board and start over. It's never late at all. Okay, and once you have had all these conversations, the one thing you want to make sure that you do is create a solid operating agreement that is going to guide you guys. Okay, operating agreements do have a ton of information. It covers the purpose of the partnership, names and addresses of partners if you choose to do that, how much you're each contributing, ownership percentages, how you're going to be set up structurally, how decisions will be made, how disputes will be resolved, how you're going to bring on new partners, how you're going to let go of partners, what happens if your partner got sick, disability, if you're husband and wife, what happens if you get divorced, what if your partner dies, how do you give their stuff over to their kids, how do you divide the assets if you guys were to dissolve your partnership. So those are all the things that will go into an operating agreement, and you want to make sure that you have a solid one. Okay, so for anyone who has gone through this, we have an amazing questionnaire that we do offer that could help you in kind of getting this started. But I would advise you to definitely book some time with us if you feel like you need some additional help. We have an amazing partnership solutions program and consulting. Look, You see those tough questions that you probably will not be able to ask your partner? We're going to be able to ask those questions for you. And the reason for that is because, when people go into business, like I said, they're usually in a really good space mentally. They're in a good space. They're excited. They're very passionate. So they don't have those difficult conversations. So everything I was just talking about, if you were to sign up for our partnership, for our comprehensive partnership solutions program and consulting, we'll be going over all these things, right? We'll be going over, why you need the partnership. We'll be talking about those, making you understand who your partner is, helping you guys ask those tough questions, your motivations, your values, what are those strengths, what are those weaknesses, how do we deal with that. We'll make sure that you have clarity on who gets to make decision on what, who gets to make money decision, who gets to take a loan on behalf of the business. If something went wrong, what happens? We do create those job descriptions for you guys, and help to give guidance when it comes to compensation. We do give you all the guidance you need of how to set up right. That's the beauty here. A lot of people have gone and set up in ways that they didn't get themselves well protected, or that did not pan out in a way that allows for their growth. So things to think about. You may not have to be a multi-member LLC. You might even want to, there's so many options that we can go through. We also will be able to help you understand how you get taxed. If you're husband and wife, what are those tax strategies? And even just as a partnership, there's so many tax strategies, and those are the things that we'll be offering you in our comprehensive program. It's amazing. We'll talk about, what happens if you wanted to dissolve, if you wanted to go your separate ways, how to add a member, how to let go. We have partnerships where you had like 10 members at the start. By the time they were done with our training, some of them were like, you know what, this is not for me, because they had more clarity. And sometimes they will go in, and because they've all agreed on how they can let, if someone wanted to leave, what would happen? It became easier for them, okay? And we're also able to help you draft that operating agreement, and we have an in-house lawyer that will review with you before you guys sign, and you're able to give that to the bank. You're able to, that becomes your operating document that really protects you, okay? So if you're thinking about going into a partnership, this is a great place to start by taking this program that we offer. And if you are watching this, we're going to be doing an amazing promo right now, which will cover 10. We're going to be doing an amazing promo, which will be giving away a 15% discount, guys. That is huge, 15% discount. And let me tell you what this entire program entails. There is about 2 to 3 hours of full-blown just consulting, answering questions. We do personality assessments. We do strengths and weakness assessments. We get to really understand who each other is. We go down through the different items that I just talked about. In addition to that, we give you guys a lot of documents to keep working with. We help you with setting up your business. We help you also with providing those tax solutions, those tax strategies, and ways that you can leverage the tax code for your growth and for your success. We're really that one-stop shop to make sure that you succeed. By the time you're done with our program, not only will you know your partner very well, but you will really be more committed to your partnership than you have ever been. Trust me on that one. And sometimes we've had people feel like, actually, no, they shouldn't be partners. They should actually stay as friends, support each other, and then show up in the ways that can help each other. Maybe do a loan if they needed to, or just come and provide a service, get compensated, and then go their way. Other people have been more committed, where they say, you know what, I think this is what I want to do, and they stay committed to it. So we would love to hear from you. There's a link. Feel free to follow the link to connect with us. We will be happy to talk with you, and we'll be happy to get you set up right. And more importantly, we want to see you win. We really want to see you win, and we are that firm. We are that firm that prioritizes people, it prioritizes the success of business owners, and I hope that you give us an opportunity to be that close partner that walks hand in hand with you to ensure that you not only set up a powerful partnership, but that it grows, it thrives, and just becomes a legacy for you, your future generations, and just many more generations to come. I hope this was helpful. You guys have a really good one. This is Dr. Lily Binglow.